Hello, fabulous Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2015, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month really begins eclipse season. So welcome to eclipse season. And eclipse season is always a time when dramatic changes are promised. Now, eclipses essentially are about putting you back on the path that your soul most desired to be on before you incarnated. It is about putting you back on the path which ultimately represents a higher plan, a higher purpose, fulfilling your higher potential and a more loving fate than maybe you're either planning or maybe that you really want to accept. You know, I think about this idea of how sometimes we think that what we're going for in life is so big. And sometimes we think that that thing is so big and so grand that we even can feel fear. We can even talk ourselves out of actually pursuing that vision. But the truth is that from the universe's perspective, that thing that we think of as so big, as the ultimate that we could achieve, is actually quite small, is actually quite beneath the potential of which we are meant to achieve. And a lot of times it takes a while to truly understand what that potential may be, what it is that grander vision of your life, because we're so convinced that it's in a certain direction. And that direction sometimes is determined by lots of different forces, whether it's cultural or familiar or what have you. But life does present us with these breakthrough moment opportunities, and they come up in the most uncanny of ways. For you, you are going to be presented with a breakthrough opportunity, absolutely. But chances are just before you get there, you are going to be feeling a little restless. In fact, some of you out there, a few Taurians out there, I do think are going to be feeling downright cranky or a little touchy or a little sensitive. And you may not be able to put your finger on why. I see a lot of energy building that is sort of creating this restlessness. And ultimately it is a friend who is going to help you break through this energy. But before you get there, there might be a little bit of projecting going on. And what I mean by that is I do think that a small percentage of Taurians out there, while it is a friend that sort of introduces the element of increasing a sense of stability in your life, ultimately that stability might, for some Taurians out there, might come about by first being rubbed the wrong way by a friend before you realize that actually the message that you got, the intention, the information, the feelings, what was stirred for you, ultimately is leading you in a very good direction, a very stable direction at that. And I say that for a few different reasons. One is the fact that we've got all these planets building in the sign just before yours. And they are having all kinds of conversations with other power players in the sky. In particular, I'm thinking about this last exact moment of the Pluto-Uranus square, Uranus in the sign just before yours, so lots is building under the surface, but we've also got a lot of inspiration building under the surface as well, lots of good things. Either you're working on them in the privacy of your own time, or they're sort of building on an energetic level, like you're preparing for something big and it's manifesting through your dreams, or your dreams are really trying to tell you the good that is coming up ahead for you. Some of you out there in the dream space may be getting messages from sort of relatives, whether you want to call them long lost relatives, but it does look like some really powerful wisdom does come forward through the archetype of a family member. And so you will want to watch out for that. And that becomes especially true in the early part of the month. However, as I said, there's still this restless energy there as well. And it looks like a part of you wants to break out, wants to break free, wants an adventure, wants to do something that excites you, that brings you enthusiasm. And yet, at the same time, might not be fully acknowledging that, might not be ready to acknowledge that, might not be ready for the change that implies. So we've got this energy happening in the early part of the month. Thankfully, love at the same time is going really well. I'll talk about that more in the love-focused horoscope. And then we get you to the middle of the month. And in the middle of the month, eclipse season kicks in. And actually, you'll be carrying eclipse season into the early part of next month as well. But this month, it really is a friend that helps create that breakthrough. Now, eclipses allow for a fresh perspective. Eclipses really are acknowledging that thing that's been staring you in the face all this time, and acknowledging it in a way that is undeniable. Your circumstances make it undeniable for you to keep skirting the issue, to no longer admit it. And it looks like you are going through a process of change. There are elements in your life that you want to have be more ideal, and this is going to be your chance to acknowledge that, and in the very next moment, take steps to create greater stability and strength for yourself, especially in the financial sense. In fact, I do see you making moves in the financial sense, where you are feeling ready for not just, I don't want to just say try something new, but more like you're ready for embracing and figuring out ways to actually do what it is that you really want to do on a broader scale. So for some of you, that may be travel. It just might be an adventure. It might be learning more, taking a class, or even pursuing something like a degree. It may be actually putting yourself out there a little bit more so that you can start to do the things that you need, so that you know in the fullness of time you will manifest something that you can really be proud of as well. But it looks like there's some adventure that's been calling you, something that you've really been wanting to do, and you haven't been heeding the call. Depending on how much you haven't been heeding the call will depend on how dramatic this eclipse ends up being for you this month. But those of you who have been actually doing quite well at this are going to find this a time when, yes, maybe there's some restlessness there, but mostly it's coming out in your dreams. Your dreams are showing you what's going on within you, going on within your heart. And when that moment comes, when that conversation comes, instead of projecting it onto a friend, your frustration onto a friend, you're able to say, oh, wow, that is a great perspective. You are so right about that. I think I'm ready to do just that I haven't admitted to myself that I actually want to do. The universe does want you to get enthusiastic about your life, and it is sort of the conduit of a friend that helps you figure out ways to cultivate enthusiasm that is stable and that is likely to create genuine happiness for a very long time to come.